morning and welcome back. Mr. Parker here live for today's episode of Homeschool Psychology, the talk show. And we have a hilarious show for you today because our episode is all about comedy. And our guests today are super amazing. We have musical guest Michael Barrow and the Tourists. And we have world famous comedian Esther Ku. You may know her from Last Comic Standing or MTV's Girl Code. So today our topic is comedy. And if you know me, you know I like to be silly and I like to have fun. And so comedy is a really fun topic for me to talk about. Because I think that if you take life too seriously, it could be boring, it could be sad, it could be too serious. And so comedy is really important to me. I know when I'm having a bad day, sometimes I just have to laugh. Like one time I was driving home and I got a flat tire. And then when I got out, it started raining. And then when I got close to my car, another car splashed me. And it was so many bad things that I could have been upset or angry or frustrated. But instead I just laughed and I said, you know, it's just kind of funny. Like how many things could go wrong? And fortunately, nothing else went wrong that day. But comedy is important because it helps us remember that it's okay to laugh at things sometimes. It's okay to be funny. And it feels really good. It feels good to smile. It feels good to be happy. It feels good to laugh. So I'm really excited for today's show. Coming up first, we have the wonderful, we have the amazing, we have the hilarious Esther Ku. Esther, welcome to the show. Hello.
Hi, Adam.
I am so happy you are here all the way from sunny Miami, Florida.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So all I said was you're this like mega famous comedian. You're on Last Comic Standing. You get to be on MTV's Girl Code sometimes. Tell us about who you are.
Well, I'm just a funny girl from Chicago, and well, I just grew up, I loved writing, and I actually thought that I wanted to be a journalist because I loved writing, and I thought I want to be a newspaper reporter because I'm always scribbling funny things in my notebook. And then I took a journalism class and I shadowed somebody at a newspaper, and I was like, oh no, this is not what I want. But when you're a kid, you try different things. So I wrote on a newspaper, and everybody at school came up to me and was like, I always read the newspaper. I always read your articles first because you're so funny. Oh. And so that gave me confidence, when you're young and you try things out. And then my choir teacher was like, you should be a comedian. And eventually, once a lot of people were like, you should be a comedian. You sound like a comedian. I'm just like, I guess I'm a comedian.
Amazing. Yeah, we've talked about risk taking on this show and just taking chances. And it sounds like you did that. You tried something, you weren't sure if you'd be great at it. And then you realized that boring news is boring and it's better to be funny.
Yeah, well, sometimes you think you want to go one way, like I wanted to be a journalist. And then it takes you a different direction because you just try it out and you see if it's a good fit. And there are some things about journalism that I liked. I'm still writing in a notebook. I still carry a notebook and a pen with me, just like journalists do. But and at lunch, whenever there was like a fight in the cafeteria, like the teachers would be like, "Everybody sit down," and then I would go run up with my pen and my notebook and start writing down the names of the people who were involved in the fight, just to make people laugh. And I never wrote about any fights, but it was just kind of like this thing that I got away with. And the teachers never told me to sit down because I was reporting on the fight.
Amazing. Amazing. So you were a reporter even back then.
Yeah, well, I'm not a reporter and I never even studied journalism. But, I think when I was a kid, there was such a heavy emphasis. Like I had to take like bio AP and I had to take like the academic courses, like heavy on the math and science and reading and everything. But when you take an elective like journalism, it lets you kind of branch out and see if you like something that's different than the main, course that everybody else is going.
Very cool. Very cool. So now you're this famous comedian. You're probably the funniest person I've ever met. And I'm wondering, like, what is so important about comedy? Like, the world is really serious and it's really crummy right now. And why is comedy important?
I think comedy is so important because comedy gives us a way to kind of tell the truth, but kind of cloak it in a funny mask, or, it allows us to say something to somebody that, is probably half truth and half kind of fabricated. But if it makes you laugh, it's a relief from all the pain and suffering that we might be experiencing on a daily basis. So I think it's important to kind of take time and, make jokes out of your situation, because, if you can't laugh at yourself, life might become really unbearable. I mean, life is unbearable for everybody, but at times that happens, then I think it helps you kind of deal with the lows of life.
Great. So comedy is like a coping skill.
Totally. That's how I became a comedian, is that, my home life wasn't always ideal. I would, watch Full House and see what like a perfect family looked like. And I was like, oh, my family doesn't do that. And so my home life was difficult for me. And so going to school, I loved going to school. It's like, it gave me a way out, and there was an audience in each classroom. So I would try out jokes, and I would get bummed when like there were like repeat kids in my next class, because I'm like, oh, Sean already heard that joke, but oh well, he has to hear it again. So I think it is a great coping mechanism.
Wonderful. So I was saying, I know you teach some kids how to tell jokes. Is that right?
Yeah, I actually was able to teach some kids in Burbank and taught some child actors a stand-up comedy class, because they're already trained to be actors. So kind of tweaking that to write jokes and set up and punchline and to deliver them into a microphone in front of an audience was a little, it wasn't that far off the path of an actor. So we had fun. Like, we came up with jokes based on their real lives. So at the end of the workshop, they got a videotape of themselves performing jokes based on who they are, which was cool because, as actors, they don't always get stuff that's custom designed for who they are. They might get a script and we're looking for a redhead who's very stubborn and, arrogant. And it's like, oh, that's not who I am. But with stand-up, you do customize it for who you are.
I love that. And so we're going to show some clips from that right now.
I hate it when people like my crush. He's my crush. I'm not sharing mine. Get your own. I mean, what else do you expect me to share? My toothbrush? My airplane? My Hilton Honors Diamond membership? I don't like recess. I don't know why all these kids love it. They run, and I hate running. I'd rather sit in the principal's office. At least there's air conditioning.
And yeah, I like what you said about comedy. It lets you be yourself. I think so often it's easy to like get overwhelmed or feel really sad and just kind of want to hide away from that. And comedy lets you be like, you know what? Put a silly nose on or be really silly, and that's okay. Let's face this by doing that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like jokes that comedians tell, they can kind of mask the truth, but it's underlying. It's there. And that's why people say comedians, like, we have like a dark sense of humor. We could joke about the darkest things. But as long as you can laugh about it, it lets me kind of tell you something personal about myself without being too vulnerable, because being vulnerable can be scary, and having such a heart-to-heart with one of your friends can be, feel like really scary. But if you're just joking, it's like, haha, am I joking or am I serious? And it's kind of up to the viewer or the audience or your friends to decide how real you're being.
Wonderful. And so before this show, you sent me a little worksheet that you do with children who probably tell better jokes than me. And so I'm wondering, can we like work through some jokes?
Oh my God, I would love that. I'll just treat you like, how old do you want to be?
I think I'd like to be 14 today. 14.
14 with facial hair. I guess you have some kind of condition that makes you grow a mustache and a beard at such a young age, Adam.
It's close to Halloween. It's Halloween time. It's like a costume, so.
Yeah, you just took your sister's eyeliner, right? And that's not real, right?
Exactly. It'll wash off. So how do we do this joke thing?
Oh, okay. So the way I teach my students is I send them a worksheet and they fill it out, and it can be based on your fears, things that you're proud of, things that you hate, things, characteristics about yourself, what you look like, about your parents. So I sent you the things that you're afraid of, right?
Right.
So yeah, so if you just fill that out, then the way you write a joke, you just start with like the setup. And the setup is just a statement about yourself or the world or your teachers or your parents. And it's just that part of the joke is the true part.
Okay.
Then the punchline is kind of the fabricated part. And that is most likely going to be a stretch. It's not really, who you are, but it's just exaggerated to make people laugh. Okay. So the second part doesn't have to be true. And actually, it's better if it's not true so that it's so crazy, it's so out there that people know, oh, I know that's a joke.
Okay. So I'm really afraid of roller coasters. I've actually never,
Aww.
I know, I've never been on a roller coaster in all 14 years of my life. So.
Oh my God.
I'm hoping we could like write a joke about it, and then maybe I would get on a roller coaster someday, but probably not.
Okay, so what are you afraid of? Why are you scared of roller coasters?
So I don't like roller coasters. They go like way too fast. And also like I'm not the one driving. Like I like to drive really fast, but I just don't want to be on a roller coaster because someone else is driving.
Okay, what about like a shopping cart at the grocery store? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I could push a shopping cart. I think I'd be okay with that.
Oh, because you're the one pushing it.
Right.
Okay, got it. So if you're scared of roller coasters, what do you do when you go to an amusement park?
I cry.
Okay, but for the sake of the joke, let's do like an exaggeration of what you might not really do at an amusement park, but for the sake of the joke, it's kind of you're telling like a lie just to make people laugh.
So like I go to an amusement park and I'm so afraid that I do something else.
Yeah, like what else could you be doing?
Could go to the gift shop.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can say, I'm Adam and I'm scared of roller coasters. So when I go to an amusement park, I just spend the whole time at the gift shop.
Okay. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to see if I can deliver.
Okay.
Hey everybody, I'm Adam and I am so afraid of riding on roller coasters that when I go to an amusement park, I just spend my whole time in the gift shop.
Ah! And then everybody will laugh because, that's kind of a self-deprecating joke.
Okay.
You're allowing other people to laugh at your fear. And kind of like, you're admitting something about yourself that's personal. So people will like you, being self-deprecating, making fun of yourself gets people to like you. Whereas making fun of other people gets people to not like you.
Perfect. So like for
yeah.
me, that felt therapeutic, right? Not a lot of people know I don't like roller coasters. And then I got to say it and then make this joke about like spending all this time in the gift shop. So that's
right.
It's a coping skill.
yeah, and then you could even add a tagline after that. You can be like, that's why whenever I go to Six Flags, I'm walking out with all the stuffed animal, and then you could like almost mime, pretend like you're carrying all the stuffed animals.
I love
Like
it.
you could almost say, my family, they always have a picture of them on the roller coasters, like, ah, but me, there's always a picture of me, like, and I'm over here like carrying all the teddy bears or whatever they have.
I love it. I love it. And then it turns into like this whole funny experience and everybody's there with laughing. Great.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so comedy, probably not my thing. It's too hard. But for you, what is being a comedian like right now, especially?
Well, right now, because of the pandemic, it's kind of not safe to be doing shows in person. So I've just been doing shows online and doing shows on Zoom, and just making like funny videos and posting them online. So I think with the internet is like the saving grace, and it, prevents us from going crazy. And and so I can still connect with people over Zoom, luckily.
Cool.
So I'm doing online shows, and it's kind of cool because normally in a comedy club, the audience is all dark, and I could normally only see like the first two rows because the spotlight is on us, and the spotlight kind of, highlights the people sitting in the front row, and then everybody else I can't see. So when a heckler yells out something out from the back, I don't know who it's coming from. So, but with these Zoom shows, I can see who it is, and I can actually see people and match their, faces with their personalities. So it's been actually a different kind of way to operate. And, I think in any industry, you have to learn to adjust to the times. And right now it's Zoom shows is what I can do. And I'm actually getting to know people more on the other side, because normally I only know the front row people.
I was gonna say, I wonder, like, do your jokes change? Does your experience change? Like, you get to see all these faces, you can interact with these people, as opposed to just coming to a show maybe with some jokes you'd already written.
Right, exactly. I've been writing jokes about coronavirus and about, quarantine. And I think being able to adapt to the times is really crucial to anybody in this career path. So it's helpful to kind of, I read the newspaper, I read what's going on in the news, and then craft jokes based on the news. So making things topical. Every human goes through painful times in their lives. And I think it does help to kind of have a little perspective. And once, if you're going through a hard time right now, and you're stuck in the house with your sister that you can't stand, or, your stepdad or your stepmom, or who knows, your grandma or anybody that, like, everybody's kind of annoying each other right now, everybody being home. I think it's might be tough for you right now, but after some time goes by, you will be able to look back at your lower moments and find something funny about it. And I think writing always helps, because even just taking your notebook and just taking time to just write about what you're frustrated at, of like, my tire broke today, and then take that anger out on your notebook, not on your car or another human being, right?
Right. Oh, I love it. I love it. Comedy is so therapeutic. Thank you for showing us that.
Yeah, thanks for allowing me to show you.
So, Esther, it was so wonderful to talk to you. I'm so happy you were able to join us and make us laugh and have that amazing laugh that you have that makes me smile. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, well, that my laugh didn't always make everybody laugh. I'll tell you that. My my teachers always kicked me out of the class for laughing loud. and I always got in trouble for it. So if you're one of these troublemaker kids watching this right now, just know that sometimes you could turn that into a money-making machine. Like literally, I sell my laugh as a ringtone on iTunes under Ku Laugh.
I'm gonna go download it right now. And all you troublemakers out there, know that if you get in a fight, Esther will write your name in her journal. So be careful. Esther, thank you so much for being here and teaching me how to try and tell a joke about my irrational fear of roller coasters.
Yes, we didn't have you hold a microphone. Like if you have like a hairbrush or a highlighter, right? I have this peppermint spray here. You just
Is that good?
Is that a lamp?
It's a lamp.
Oh. Well, that could be your spotlight.
So now I need a microphone and a spotlight. Okay.
I have my students hold like a hairbrush or a highlighter to act as their microphone.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Adam, and I am so afraid of roller coasters that when I go to an amusement park, I just spend the whole time in the gift shop. And family has like their picture going, oh, and I'm here holding all the teddy bears like, oh. Thank you, Esther. You taught me how to tell jokes, and now I can finally laugh again about my fear of roller coasters.
Aw. Well, during during the pandemic, I'm also teaching online. So if you want to take my class, I could do lessons over Zoom. Just contact me through my website.
Cool. All right, we'll have that stuff in the bottom. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Adam.
Bye. Holy cow. Esther Ku. She's hilarious. I wish I was as funny as her, but what I do really appreciate is her just positive outlook on life. And yeah, things are crummy sometimes and things aren't great, but you can still laugh about it. And like, I'm afraid of roller coasters, and that's okay. And now you guys know that I'm going to spend all this time in the gift shop buying teddy bears instead of being on roller coasters. So just super wonderful to have Esther here. We're going to go to the next segment in our show, and it is the wonderful weather duo of Teddy and Pocky. Teddy, Pocky, what do you got?
It's cold!
Thanks, guys. Always great. Always great. Next part of our show is the kids segment, and here it comes.
Thanks, Mr. Parker. And today I'm going to be reading. And back to you.
Awesome, awesome job. Coming up next is our musical guest. And today we have Michael Barrow and the Tourists. And just a super awesome band. They're going to do a song for us, and then we're going to talk all about comedy with them. Here it goes.
Hello, my name is Michael from the band Michael Barrow and the Tourists, and this is a new song called Time Rolls On. Seven years old, I have it all. I run the streets till Mama calls me to come back home. The table is set with plastic cups. I know it might not look like much, oh, but it's enough for the six of us. No, there ain't nothing wrong. And time rolls on. "16 years old and I'm a mess. I'm in my tux, you're in your dress. I can barely breathe. I'm out the door with daddy's keys. You're in the front seat next to me with the windows low. We're high on the radio, singing the same old songs. And time rolls on. Maybe today's been hard on you. Maybe your dreams are coming true. Maybe you're in between. Well, 28 years have come my way, and when I get stuck on yesterday or a year ago, I'm learning to let it go, 'cause I know it won't be long. No, there ain't nothing wrong, 'cause I know the time rolls on.
With Michael Barrow. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. It's good to be here.
We're really happy you're here. I see a couple guitars behind you. Who are you?
Yeah. Where am I?
Who are you?
Oh, who am I? Well, I'm Michael Barrow, which we've established. Where to start? I like to do music. That's a thing that's fun for me. That's why there's some guitars in the background. There are also shoes.
Oh.
I like to, walk.
Great.
When I'm not doing music, I'm a FedEx driver, which is also, it pays the bills and it's a good time. Gets me outside, especially right now, which is kind of hard sometimes. So that's real nice. I don't know. What else you want to know?
I mean, that's wonderful. You play guitar, you drive a FedEx truck, you like to walk and wear shoes when you do it. Those are all wonderful things.
Yeah.
So you play in a band that I think has your name in it, right?
It does. We're called Michael Barrow and the Tourists.
Our topic is comedy. And I'm wondering, what does a walking musician like yourself know about comedy, and what does it mean to you?
Oh gosh. So there was this one time we had a local newspaper did an article about our band, and I'm just gonna look up the headline real quick because it was just like the perfect description of kind of what we do. Because our music, if you would listen to us, I mean, a lot of it's pretty serious. There's some more upbeat and lighthearted songs, but a lot of it kind of like talks about real stuff, and a lot of it is about relationships, and namely kind of sad relationships, because they're about me. But the headline of this article is Provo band Michael Barrow and the Tourists plays serious music, tells bad dad jokes. And that's kind of like, I don't know. I think there's room for being serious in this world, for sure. I mean, they're serious situations that we all kind of go through, and a lot of times I like to use music as a way to kind of express those emotions. Things maybe a little more sadness or kind of melancholy things, or like introspective stuff. And then the second we stop the song and say, "How you guys doing tonight?" It's like, I don't know. I think there's room to be kind of silly as well. And I think having all of that, it really, I don't know, helps you to be kind of a centered person. I like not having, not being too extreme in one way or the other, just having that kind of well-rounded aspect. It just makes life a little more interesting, I think.
I love that. I love that about your guys' band and your whole personality with life. Like, my outlet is music. I'm going to put my feelings into music, and then in between songs, I'm going to tell some funny jokes and also have an outlet. That's great.
Yeah.
So how do you be funny while you're a traveling musician? And I know right now you're not probably traveling as much, but
not a ton.
How do you keep the humor up in a van with a couple of bandmates and some Taco Bell?
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, So we've been a band for almost 5 years now. We got together in February of 2016. So next February it'll be 5 years. And I don't know that we were always that way. Like we got together and we were all kind of intimidated of each other. I just had a song that I had recorded or that I was gonna record, and a friend of mine reached out to some other musicians. We were gonna put together this full band version of it, and so we were all kind of scared of each other. We didn't really know each other, and then as you know, just kind of the weeks and then months and now years have gone on, we've just gotten really close. And so I think first of all, just when we're in the van just going wherever we're going, knowing that you can say anything without anyone judging you or anything like that, just because we know each other so well and we're such good friends. I think that's a really good space to be able to let yourself be a little bit silly and kind of experiment with that, because you're not going to get any judgment from your homies.
Yeah.
And then in the shows themselves, when you're in front of people, for me personally, I use humor as a way to sometimes diffuse the tension, right? Not that people are feeling tense and awkward or anything like that, but if I say something kind of funny off the cuff, it really helps everybody to just kind of feel a little more welcome. I think it helps disconnected people feel a little more connected. And so I found that to be a really helpful tool when I'm performing.
Wonderful. And I imagine even though you've probably played 100,000 shows, they can still be nerve-wracking sometimes. And it's nice for you to break the tension.
Yeah, definitely. Even, sometimes, again, it's just a totally selfish thing. I'm like, I feel a little scared right now. I'm going to say something silly. And if they laugh, then I'll feel great. Now, what you got to worry about is if you say something that actually isn't funny, and then you feel even more uncomfortable. But then even that, sometimes people start laughing at how uncomfortable you feel. And then you just all make it through together.
And then you tell even more jokes. And then
exactly. And it's just this vicious cycle.
Well, wonderful. So comedy is super important to you. You keep it up on the road even when things aren't going well. Is there anything else you want to say about why it's important to be funny, or how to be funny, or how to not take the world so seriously when it's such a serious place?
One time somebody told me, and I was just a kid and I was sort of developing my personality, I guess. And they told me that I kind of had a knack for having a good sense of humor and bringing lightness into troubled moments. And if there's any troubled moment right now, it's the year 2020, right? And I realized then, and as I've continued with that in mind, that sometimes that's what people need. It can be really easy to focus on everything that's going wrong and everything that is hard or scary or sad, and sometimes laughing at it, even though the rest of the world is falling apart. If you can kind of smile or help someone to smile, that can really just kind of turn things around and help sort of cast a more of a light on maybe a murky situation.
So true. I think we so often take for granted all of the great things that go on around us, while really horrible things are going on too. Mm-hmm. But it's nice to be able to take some time to laugh and to remember there are funny things, or maybe so many bad things happen to me today, it's almost funny, and to just laugh about it.
Yeah.
Michael, thank you so much for your words, for your positivity, for your funniness, and your cues and your guitars. Do you want to tell a joke or not today?
I do want to tell you a joke, and it'll actually just be a real quick one, kind of a one-liner that I enjoy. Okay, here it goes. What did the pirate say on his 80th birthday?
What did the pirate say on his 80th birthday? I don't know.
Aye, matey. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love a good pirate joke. Michael, thank you so much for making me laugh, telling your stories, and talking about comedy and how it's brought happiness and lessened tension in your life. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about, being silly. I don't get to do that all the time. It's usually music or FedEx or walking. So this was nice.
Well, you're welcome back to talk about comedy whenever you want on our show, okay?
All right. Thanks so much, Adam.
Have a wonderful, wonderful day. See ya.
Hey, you as well. Bye-bye.
All right, that is our show for today. Esther, Michael and the Tourist, Teddy, Pocky, our kids segment. What an amazing show. I want you guys to remember to laugh. Have some fun. Comedy is all around us, and it's so important. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
So how are you feeling? How are you doing?